Today is the big crit with all of the professors from visual arts department. They'll just go there and they'll like ask us questions. What does your work about? What does this mean? Whatever questions they come up with, that's what's going to happen. I'm telling you, I'm gonna cry tonight when I go to sleep. I should have brought my boyfriend with me today. For sure. I'm about to be like, hey, let me go pick you up. But you know what? That's gonna make me feel good when I get this done all by myself. This is like Central PA where people don't know much about homelessness. When my kids were small, I was like one paycheck away, like check to check. You know what it is to get your paycheck and pay all the bills, and then you'll have enough for gas to get to work to wait for the next paycheck. It's tough. Yeah, this is good. If I put like one brick up the top, it will help. Such a genius. I was a service tech. So I was training in gaffing. I was training on what they call a training pole. And every day that training pole is being used and being stuck with those spikes that are on the side of the gaffing braces. And the day before it rained, and I felt it once I got to the top. When I was coming down, I took one step down. I was like 20 feet. I took one step down and I felt it slide like butter. Like it was so wet, the wood and all the parts of it, and I just went straight down, landed on my legs and like crunched my knees, my disc, everything on my neck, all of those things. Hit my face on the way down. So I went on family medical leave, and that family medical leave never released me back. It was just continued to be not being able to go to work. So it just became downhill little by little by little. So if you can't work, you can't make money. I have tarp, I have some fabric that I bought that I'm going to spray paint on the outside. So I'm gonna spread it in the front to make it like curtains. Close curtains or whatever. Ooh, I need to get food because I'm getting a little dizzy. Bringing me flashbacks from the days when I was out there and I couldn't eat anything. When people pass by, I'm assuming that they're gonna ask questions. I have a student that's going to be sitting in there during my critiques, sort of like a performance. And I'm hoping that people will ask questions like, what's going on in there? And I didn't give her a script because I feel like we cannot prepare for every single question people are going to ask.
My name is Ciara Newton, but most people call me Cece. I'm a third-year PhD student in art education and African American diaspora studies. I'm here to humanize the installation by putting my human fleshy self inside of it. One of the huge things when I was a child and we were homeless, my mom would always make sure that we were clean and that on school on time. And had a snack and were ready to perceive as a happy, fully functioning family. And that had to do with survival, because she couldn't have kept us with the school knowing. Being here, working on a weave or like eating lunch or, reading an article, and people will often come up to me and talk to me like, oh, what are you performing? And I'm just like living. I'm just out here living in this space, and that's what people who are in this situation are also doing. They're living.
Oh, great. We ordered and they wouldn't get there. But are you not going to be there?
No, I got them today.
Great. So we haven't. Okay. So just great. And we do.
So I'm not sure where ceramics comes in for you, and I don't know much about you and ceramics in the nature of like this really interesting thing that's happening here,
Right. Ceramics is something that's permanent, like unless you break it. You know, it doesn't dissolve in water. You know, it's permanent. You can have it for a very long time. And those are memories that I've made permanent. So those pieces are memories that are made permanent by the material. It's me. If it wasn't for clay, I'd still be aimlessly wandering. I think it like saved my life because it was even therapeutic for my hands and all the pain that I was having. I don't feel any pain when I'm making clay stuff. The pain hits me like after I stop. And I'm like, oh. I think like as I'm doing it, the focus is on the work and I don't even feel anything whatsoever. So when I always felt that, I was like, this is a keeper. I have to keep doing this because if it makes me stop hurting, we have to make some more, you know, we have to work on some more art stuff, you know. And I just took it from there, like something that makes you feel like that, why stop it? See, don't do it against your hand, pinch it. So when you pinch, you compress. And it's up to you, because to me, it doesn't have to be like super straight. I love that wavy, like that wavy edge. It doesn't bother me at all.
It looks like a rose cup.
One of the places that I lived in, if you couldn't afford to pay the rent, they tell you that you could do community service, 8 hours a month, and you pay no rent. And I think that was a crutch, because a lot of people were just doing it and they weren't thinking about, I'm going to go to school, I'm going to get a job. They will, I'm just going to put my 8 hours a month and I'll just have free rent. But I didn't see that. I saw it as an opportunity, you know, because they said, if you're going to school full time, you don't have to pay rent. And that's what I did. I went back to school, and that's where I started going to school. After I got out of the shelter and went into those apartments, I started going there to get my associates, and I'm here now getting my master's. I haven't really decided what title I want. One of the titles that I was thinking about is Home is Where You Keep Your Bags, because I always used to tell that to my kids when I used to say, oh, let's go home, and they were like, that's not home. And I was like, well, our bags are there, and if we keep our bags there, that is home.